Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about how the Dixie crashing may lead to a major rally soon on Bitcoin. As you know, Bitcoin has been in a major uptrend for the duration of the month of May, and I personally believe that that uptrend is going to be able to continue over the month of June. That being said, there are quite a few short-term fundamental factors that could be leading to some headwinds for Bitcoin. So today, we're going to be talking about whether Bitcoin is going to be able to smash its resistance, break through $70,000, and move in towards all-time high in the month of June. And we are also going to be talking about how to smash through and break through some of the blockers that we have and that you might have in your own growth so that we can continue to grow and succeed here in cryptocurrency by implementing the laws of money and the 10 steps of financial sovereignty. My name is Jeb McAfee. I've been teaching you guys about cryptocurrency and about how to become financially sovereign for the better part of a decade now, and it is my mission in life to build the biggest fundraising campaign for the kingdom of God in the history of mankind. I want you guys to join with me on this journey of building an empire where we are able to share so much money with people that are in need. But before we can get there, we've actually got to have some. You know, people have this stigma about rich people. Oh, rich people are this, rich people are that. I remember one time I was walking around with a fancy watch on, had my suit on, and my nice shoes on. I was getting ugly looks. People are looking at me like, you know, they give you that like, I don't know about you, ugh, rich person. You know, it's funny, and rightfully so. In our culture, we've accepted that racism is wrong. Rightfully so, it's a horrible thing. Rightfully so, in our culture, we've accepted that sexism is wrong. Rightfully so, it's wrong. Rightfully so, in our culture, we've accepted that, you know, hatred is wrong, except unless it's pointed at certain people like rich people. It's okay to hate on rich people in our culture, and I think that that's a load of freaking nonsense, because what I want you guys, and what I want to do, is I want to make a lot of money. I want to show you guys how to make a lot of money. Why? So that we can have bigger boats? No. Why? So that we can have nicer cars? No, but there's nothing wrong with that. Why? So we can live in nicer homes? No, but there's nothing wrong with that. So that we can find the joy that comes from being able to really make a difference in this life, from being able to really make a difference in this world. When there are millions of sex slaves all around the world, when there are millions of people being kidnapped all around the world, when there are single moms out there where the man-child that got her pregnant ran off and went to get milk and never came back, and he decided to be a boy instead of standing up and being a man and taking care of his family, and there are people like that out there that need help, it is up to us to acquire the resources that are necessary, because we are in a position where we are able to do that so that we can help the people that are not in a position to do that. Friends, if there's a quadriplegic out there and they are paralyzed from the neck down, you can't really expect that individual to go out there and work. It is our job as Christians to take care of the afflicted and the orphan and the needy and the elderly and the people that are deserving of the help and also can't help themselves. Those are the people that we need to be able to go out there and help. And if we're going to do that, we've got to make a decision right now that we are going to get ourselves in order, because I have opportunities that maybe you don't, and you have opportunities that maybe I don't, and maybe I don't know how to, you know, run a preschool, but I know how to make money and fund a non-for-profit preschool that's trying to teach people about the love of Christ in Puerto Rico or in Haiti or wherever, right? I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to make money and help people with that. I have the ability to be part of the fundraising arm of the kingdom. And if you want to be a part of that, then I'm going to show you exactly how to master your finances. And if you do what I teach you, you will succeed. If you don't, you will fail. It is that simple. It does not get any more complicated than that. You can either do what I'm about to teach you in the second half of this stream after we're done with the crypto, because we'll be talking about that first, or you can fail, and there's not really much in between. I want you guys to succeed, not just for yourselves, but so that you can establish a family name. I want your last name to mean something. I want McAfee, our last name, to mean something. I want your last name, whatever it may be, to mean something. Not so that you can walk around with your chest puffed out, but so that you can use that reputation and the resources that you acquire to help the people that are in need. Think about what the world would be like if the top 1,000 richest people in the world had a heart to be radically generous. That's what we're trying to build, and if you'll come with me, I'll show you exactly the plan that we're going to follow to get there. So let's go ahead and start out with our cryptocurrency, and then we'll continue right along talking more about that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the stream. We've got Joe Bollier and Roll Hendricks and Philly Skills 1428 and RJ and Bill's Mafia, Satchet 321, Carter Pennington, Brechet Reichart. I think I said that correctly. Said good afternoon, Jeb. Greetings from Belgium. Shout out to Belgium. Joao Pereira. I think I said that right. It's Portuguese. Said good morning. Alex Nibo, Joseph Tokar, Carter Pennington, John Doe, Chasse, GWSP, Stephen Watson, Roll Hendricks, John Doe, Tim France, and Brian. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's see if we can get the likes up to over 100. We have a mission, and if you want to come along on it, that's one of the ways you can help support the channel, hitting the like button. Let's get started. Bitcoin is up over the last 7 days, about 1%. Over the last 24 hours, it is also up about 1%. Funnily enough, over the last hour, it is also up about 1%, so we're green across the board. Ethereum is up about 1% in the last hour. It's mostly sideways in the last 24 hours and the last 7 days. We've got XRP down 1% in the last 7 days. Dogecoin up 1% in the last 7 days. Cardano down 3% in the last 7 days. SHIB up 8% in the last 7 days. And across the board, what we're seeing right now, Solana down 1.5%. Across the board, what we're seeing right now is an overall sentiment of Bitcoin more or less kind of just trading sideways here and consolidating, flagging out. Bitcoin was trading at $56,000 when we began this month. We would in total rally $15,300, up 27%. Now, we've rallied 22% after a corrective movement, and we're rallying over the last 24 hours. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Dixie, which is the dollar currency index. If you're not familiar with the dollar currency index, it is abbreviated DXY, and it's pronounced the Dixie. The dollar currency index is an index that tracks the strength of the United States dollar against a basket of other world currencies. And it shows us essentially how the dollar is stacking up on the backdrop of other national currencies. And so yesterday we made a video titled, or talking about how the rally on the Dixie was causing a crash on Bitcoin. And that was true. If you look at the Dixie here, it was going through a major rally yesterday. We saw a bull doji where we had the candlestick and the long lower shadow, and then the large green candlestick coming in yesterday. That was accompanied by Bitcoin seeing 2 days of red. As you can see, 2 days of red here on Bitcoin, 2 days of green here on Dixie. They are inversely correlated, which means when one goes in one direction, the other goes in the other direction. A little bit like a rebellious 3-year-old. Go here. I'm going to go there. Go there. I'm going to go here. Right? Don't ask me how I know what that's like. No, just kidding. But that's what Bitcoin and the Dixie are. Dixie does something, Bitcoin does the polar opposite. And so with the Dixie crashing over the last 24 hours, and you say, crash, Jeb, it's only 0.4%. Yeah, but the Dixie doesn't move very fast. It's a pretty big drop for a day on Dixie. There's not many days where the Dixie will drop that much. It's kind of in the top probably 35% of drop of red candlesticks in size. So it's a pretty large drop on the Dixie. Backtesting down to around 104.7. That gives us the conclusion that we're dropping on Dixie, and so when the Dixie drops, Bitcoin rallies. Well, because the Dixie has dropped and because it's allowing Bitcoin to rally, it has put Bitcoin into this position where we've now got a bullish engulfing candlestick formation. For anyone who has gone through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy in the past, you will know that the bullish engulfing candlestick formation is one of the most important candlestick formations in technical analysis because it gives us a very simple reversal pattern. You see this reversal pattern all over the place. We saw a bullish engulfing candlestick formation right here, a red candlestick, and then we saw the green candlestick, hence the bullish part of the name, engulf the red candlestick, hence the bullish engulfing part of the name, and because it has to do with candlesticks, we get a bullish engulfing candlestick. I know, us physicists and us chart analysts and us financial professionals are very good at coming up with funny names, right? You know, you know, the astrophysicists in the crowd have much cooler names like Kugelblitz and Supernova. We've just got bullish engulfing candlestick. Nevertheless, the bullish engulfing candlestick right here and right here were also indicating a rally. This one did not end up going into a rally, but that was because Bitcoin had already rallied so much. Now that we're seeing a bullish engulfing candlestick formation on Bitcoin, that does give us the option for Bitcoin to rally quite significantly higher from here and to come up here and test some of our resistance, of which there was quite a bit. We've got resistance on the previous all-time high here at $78,300. We've also got resistance here on the previous local top that was set on the 21st of May, earlier last week, right before the Ethereum exchange-traded funds were approved. Bitcoin is going to need to break through this zone right here, therefore, to move into a major, move into the next phase of the bull market. But I think that's going to be doable. And part of the reason I think that's going to be doable is because we've seen similar formations play out in recent memory. We've seen Bitcoin go through this kind of sideways action for a while and then break out. We've seen Bitcoin go through sideways action and then break out. That's what Bitcoin does. It's in a bull market. You could almost even look at it like this. You could say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott impulse wave movement to the upside. To be honest with you, this is kind of a small corrective movement compared to what we went through last summer. And so you could even say that Bitcoin is not even in a major correction yet because Bitcoin only dropped 24%, only dropped $17,000. It's not, and it has not, and more importantly, we've not actually been down here below all-time high for very long. It's only been about 80 days. Corrective movements in the past on Bitcoin could last several months. And so what I think we're seeing right now is a prime opportunity for Bitcoin to get its movement on and to start moving back to the upside. That being said, there are some bearish factors to contend with. If we have even one more day of red, doesn't really matter how much red, but if we have even one more day of red, we are going to see a bearish MACD cross. Bearish MACD crosses are very important on a psychological level because when you see a bearish MACD cross, it typically indicates that the market is going to drop, and that freaks people out. Just drawing some of our most recent bearish MACD crosses here, we're going to be able to see that a lot of times they do actually lead to a drop on Bitcoin. We saw a drop here, saw a drop here. We saw a short-term corrective movement here, although it was mainly just sideways. Here, we didn't really see a drop because we just kind of traded sideways here for a while. But the momentum had indeed slowed down, which is what MACD was calling in that case. So MACD going through a bearish cross is definitely something of note that we're going to want to pay attention to. Now, if we look at the Crypto Jeb Oscillator, which was built in partnership between yours truly and the LUX Algo team, then we will see that the Crypto Jeb Oscillator is telling us that Bitcoin is losing quite a bit of its bullish strength. And the fact that it's losing its bullish strength denotes that we may be seeing a corrective movement coming soon. So, while I'm excited about this bullish engulfing candlestick, and I'm excited about the Dixie having a correction, I want to see the dollar dropping so that Bitcoin can rally. That does, at the same time, does not negate the fact that there are quite a few bearish factors going on right now, including the fact that Bitcoin did actually hit the take profit here on the buy signal. We did hit the take profit, which means we could be going into a downtrend, although it's not confirmed yet. At the same time, we are still under a buy signal, which is bullish. So it's going to take a little bit of time to shake out. Right now, we are kind of sitting on our hands waiting for Bitcoin to do something because at the end of the day, it has been rallying, or excuse me, it has been moving sideways for the last 7 days, which is plenty of time for us to come to the conclusion that we're going to have to just kind of wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see what Bitcoin is going to do. We will be able to see in time. Now, something else I want to talk about is the stock market. Today, the S&P 500 dropped below its previous all-time high, which was set at $524 here on the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, the original S&P. And we have dropped below that on opening hours here just about an hour ago when the stock market opened at approximately 9:30. And so this is a movement that we're going to need to watch very closely. You'll be seeing more about that in today's daily dose of crypto, so stay tuned for that. But when we see the S&P 500 move below a previous all-time high like that, it does mean that we are backtesting and even failing the backtest. And so could it mean that we're going to start building out some kind of uptrending level of resistance right here, uptrending level of support right here, and we're going to move into some kind of ascending wedge that we might break bearish out of? Time will tell. The reason we talk about the S&P 500 here on the Crypto Jeb YouTube channel is because the S&P 500 is also one of the largest predictors of Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin and the S&P 500 are, not whenever, but generally speaking, the Bitcoin market and the S&P 500 market, the S&P 500, the United States stock market, they move very much in tandem. During the bull market last season, we saw a major rally on Bitcoin. During the beginning of the Ukrainian war, the Russian-Ukrainian war, we saw the United States stock market crash as inflation started catching up with all of the money printing that had occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. That led to a major crash on Bitcoin. As the United States stock market started to rally again, so too did Bitcoin. In general, over the last several years, in fact, probably the last decade, the Bitcoin market has followed the S&P 500 market almost perfectly. And so that means a couple of things. Number one, it means buy the S&P 500, because you should do that, and you should put investment into the S&P 500. It's not really a question, it's a statement. It's do that, please. At the same time, it's a good idea to hold Bitcoin too, because Bitcoin and, largely speaking, the cryptocurrency market follow the S&P 500. And so they don't really hedge against each other. You just invest into both of them, and you hold on to them for the long term. I recommend 90% or more of your cryptocurrency investment going into the United States stock market, and then I also recommend some more Bitcoin investment on top of your retirement investment after you've already invested 15% of your household income into retirement accounts, starting with a 401k with a match, and then a Roth IRA for the tax advantages, and then into a traditional brokerage account. Or excuse me, a traditional IRA, and then into a traditional brokerage account in that order. After you are maxing out those retirement accounts, putting 15% of your household income into them, then start investing in Bitcoin. Don't start investing in altcoins until you've started investing in Bitcoin. It's not a good idea. Buy Bitcoin first, hold it for the long run. This is the way. This is the plan. Don't do anything other than that. Do that first, and then do other things on top of that. All right, so Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space are likely to go into a rally at some point in the next few weeks, although we're not there yet. So what do we do in the meantime? Well, what we need to do in the meantime is we need to ensure that our systems and processes are growing. You see, yesterday we talked about momentum, and the fact of the matter is you don't end up moving very rapidly unless you have a consistent acceleration. You don't get to being the U-2 spy plane and traveling at several thousand miles an hour up in the stratosphere without a lot of acceleration. You don't end up getting into low Earth orbit without having about 15,000 miles an hour of speed, and you've got to do a lot of acceleration, a lot of G-force to get there. You don't get up to driving a Bugatti Veyron at 300 miles an hour on a test track somewhere in the middle of nowhere in France without having a very powerful engine and a lot of acceleration. You just don't succeed without a very powerful engine, and with that powerful engine, you are able to build momentum, and then as someone very astutely pointed out in the comment section yesterday, even if your engine cuts out, you're still moving quickly, and even if you start coasting, you end up still going much faster than everyone else around you. And so that momentum theorem is very important for success. And the only way that you can build momentum is by being consistent. The only way that you can get a Bugatti to travel 300 miles an hour, the only way that you can get the space shuttle or the Falcon Heavy or the Falcon 9 to get into low Earth orbit, the only way you can get the Saturn V to send man to the moon is by having a consistent engine that does the same thing over and over again, normally multiple thousand times a minute. A Bugatti Veyron, you could have it at 12 or 13,000 RPM, whatever the revolutions per minute of the engine is. But you're doing the same thing. Piston goes down, fuel injection comes in, you have ignition, boom. Or excuse me, the piston comes up, the fuel comes in, ignition, boom, pushes the piston down, the momentum brings the piston back up, fuel injection comes in, spark, boom. You have the exact same thing happen over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you're driving a car at 5,000 revolutions per minute, or let's say 6,000 revolutions per minute, that means you're having 100 revolutions a second. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Have I made my point? If you have a rocket engine, you are having the rocket fuel, whether it be hydrogen peroxide, if you're having a rocket engine in your backyard, or the solid boosters on the side of a space shuttle, you're having a consistent chain reaction, a chemical physical reaction happening on a milliseconds based scale. You're having several thousand pounds of solid fuel burning on a consistent basis. The ignition of the different molecules of fuel are happening millions of times a second. There's something consistently going on over an extended period of time that leads to the acceleration, which then gives you the benefit of having the speed that you need to achieve your goal, whether you're trying to hit 300 miles an hour in a Bugatti or whether you're trying to get into low Earth orbit in the space shuttle. Whatever it may be, you're doing something consistently over and over and over again. In the case of engines, you're doing something several thousand times a minute to several million times a second. In the case of investment, you're doing something 52 times a week, and it's called dollar cost averaging. And that is the engine that will drive you into the stratosphere. That is the engine that will drive you to success. That is the engine that will help you to make a difference in your finances. When you run a budget, not 1 month, but every month. When you go to the gym, not one day, but every day of the week. When you invest, not one Friday, but every Friday. And you do that for an extended period of time. That is when you have success. That is when you are able to run an engine that is able to accelerate, that is able to give you the speed that you need to achieve the goal that you have. But until you have established something that gives you a consistent chain reaction of success, you will not accelerate, and therefore you will not gain the speed that you need to reach the goal that you have. You don't get anywhere. You don't build anything. You don't succeed unless you do it consistently. We succeed consistently. We grow consistently. We build wealth consistently. You see the point? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. The engine doesn't do something different every time it revolves. No. It does the exact same thing every single time. McDonald's doesn't custom make your order. You get French fries, you get a hamburger, or you get some other kind of nonsense. But they do this same thing every single time. This is something I'm learning in business. Businesses that work in custom work very, very, very rarely succeed. The businesses that succeed are the businesses that build the exact same thing every single time. And they might have a model change, but they don't change things for a few years. You don't get a new Mustang except every 4 years, and then they turn into an SUV for some reason. You don't get a new Tesla every year. You get one every few years. They might make minor tweaks here and there, but the model doesn't change except for maybe 2 or 3 times a decade. Our investment strategy ought be the same. We have got to run an engine that is consistent, because I tell you what, one of the things I have learned in life is that the most miserable people in life that I've run into, and the times that I've been the most miserable in my life, is when I have been, or I see someone else being, highly ambitious, and they're lazy, and they're inconsistent, and they're unwilling to work, and they're unwilling to cut deep and sacrifice and say, I'm going to put what I want now on the altar so that I can get what I want later, because it's not all about me. It's about future me. It's about my spouse. It's about my kids. It's about building a name for my family. It's about doing something in the world. It's about honoring God. It's about hearing, well done, my good and faithful servant. So if you dig deep and you say, man, I've got a reason, I've got a purpose in life. I got a purpose in life. I want to make sure my kids are taken care of. I want them to see me as a role model, not see me as somebody to do the polar opposite of what I've done. I want them to look at me and say, man, if I could be half of what my father is, then I'll be a good man. And then I want them to go and be double what I ever was. That gets me up in the morning. I have dreams. I have visions about saying one day my son's going to be graduating high school, and I want him to look out in the crowd and say, I would not be here if not for that man right there. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to become. That's who I want you to become, because that matters. That means something. That's visceral. So let's get back to crypto and let's talk about how we can do that. How do we consistently succeed? How do we build that engine of success? I once said you win on the hard days. Anybody can perform when it's easy. Anybody can go to the gym and hit a max when everything feels like you're bench pressing next to SpongeBob and you're pushing the little cotton bunny up and down. Anybody can succeed on a day like that. The people who genuinely succeed are the people that say, man, this is boring. Man, this market sucks right now. It's sideways. It's boring. The people that succeed are the people that say, oh my goodness, oh man, Bitcoin's dropped 75%. I can't do it. The people that succeed are the people that dig deep inside of themselves and say, man, I am just spent today. I need to go lay down. And you do need rest. But I'm going to stay with it a little bit more. I'm going to keep that energy. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do something. And here's what they do. They say, this is a hard day. Good. Because I get to learn something. Let's bring the scriptures into this. Let's see. Let me pull it up. James chapter 1 says it like this. James chapter 1 says it like this. Because make no mistake, I misunderstood this for a long time. The way that I'm speaking right now, a lot of times I thought was unchristian-like. It's not. Here's what the Bible says. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. In other words, count it all joy. Consider it to be a good thing when hardship comes. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. The trying of your faith produces patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire and whole, wanting nothing. I'm slightly paraphrasing there because I know King James is not something that most people are very familiar with. But the point is, we should count it as joy when it hits the fan and we say, I have no idea what's going on. I'm lost. I am out of it. I am spent. I got to go lay down. I am tired. We count it as joy and we say, that is the moment that we let that lion that God put inside of you roar. Let's hear it. Come on. Get some energy. Let's hear it. Make a change. Say, I'm sick of it. I am sick of being who I was. I want to be who I'm going to become. And going back to the engine analogy, let's talk a little bit about how we actually do that. Because I do believe, as we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I do believe that Bitcoin is going to go through a rally in June. Why? If you look at the 3 daily chart, it kind of spells itself out. Bullish cross coming in on MACD. Bitcoin just needs to rally a little bit further. You see the bullish MACD cross right here on the 3 daily chart completely contradicts the daily chart. The daily chart may end up leading us to the downside in the short term, but the 3 daily chart will lead us to the upside. If we look at the crypto Jeb oscillator, the bears are losing strength. The bulls are also kind of losing strength right now, which is interesting. You don't see that very often, but that means we're trading sideways. But the bears have lost all their momentum. They're losing their speed. This right here, velocity. This is how fast the engine's running. Engine stopped running for the bears. This is their speed. It's coming down. Obviously, if you take the foot off the pedal, then the car starts to decelerate. That's what this is talking about. That's what the crypto Jeb oscillator is saying. Right here, man, those bulls had their foot on the gas, and the speed was picking up as a result. Profit, net worth. Think about it like that, however you want to think about it. Bears took the foot off the gas, started losing speed. The bulls have not started really putting their foot on the gas just yet on the 3 daily chart, but it's coming. It won't be far from now, and we'll be rallying to the upside. We'll be moving to the upside. There are so many bullish factors. Let's run them down a few at a time. Number one, you've got the Bitcoin ETFs that came online. One of the most successful launches in the history of the entire United States securities market. Over 100 years, this is one of the most successful launches that the United States securities market has ever seen in history. The BlackRock IBIT ETF had continuous inflows for so long that it ranked number 6 in all-time performance. Billions of dollars came in. One of the most exciting markets in all of Wall Street right now is crypto. Let's not forget that. And Bitcoin very rapidly, before the halving even happened, we already hit all-time high. Last season, we had to wait a year post having to hit all-time high, which means the cycle is moving faster, which means the bulls are roaring stronger. Secondly, Bitcoin halving has occurred. We know that in the first 90 days, the Bitcoin halving almost always leads to a correction. Bitcoin halving was a month ago. Wasn't long ago. We've still got another 11 months to see Bitcoin really kick off, really start moving to the upside. That's gonna come. The Ethereum ETF got approved, has not launched yet. I believe when it launches, that's when you're probably going to see a lot of the bullishness. When you have rumors that, okay, the launch is a week away, that's when you're going to see, boom, Ethereum's rallying back to all-time high. It's coming. I think Ethereum can go to $10,000 this bull market. Solana, I am very displeased with its inflation, but the bottom line is it's still got a lot of adoption. There's still a lot of money coming into it. I think it could easily go to $300. More, probably significantly more. Cardano, I still think Cardano could go back to all-time high. I need to see more adoption on it. We've seen the FIT21 bill pass through Congress. That is now going to the Senate, but it's probably going to be passed. We've also seen a bill come through banning the Federal Reserve from implementing CBDCs. That is very bullish for cryptocurrency because it means that if the United States and the government of the United States wants to get on board with crypto, they got to get on board with crypto, not on board with CBDCs. It means they've actually got to do something about crypto, which is good because having the United States backing the growth of the space rather than trying to stop the growth of the space would be like rocket fuel. On top of that, should Donald Trump get elected, which he very well may, we'll see, he obviously has become one of the biggest proponents of cryptocurrency in the entire world. 80 million voters voted for them. Those people, at least a significant portion of them, follow him very closely. He says, I'm pro-crypto. They're going to go look into crypto. There are so many bullish factors going on right now that even if we trade sideways or crash for the next 2, 3, 4 months, that's okay, because what's going to end up happening is Bitcoin's going to go through a major rally. Excuse me, 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. Bitcoin's going to end up going through a major rally as we move into the later part of this year, moving on into 2025 as well. This is a significantly bullish season for Bitcoin, and so to tie everything that we've talked about in the last 30 minutes together into a nice, neat bow, here you go. Bitcoin's going to rally. We need to have an engine that is consistent to succeed. If Bitcoin's going to rally and we've got to be consistent, then how do we do this? We dollar cost average. We follow a written plan for money. The 6 laws of money. FinSoft. Living on less than you make. Having a written plan, getting out of debt, saving and investing, and being radically generous. Those are our 6 laws that create our 10 steps in the financial sovereignty way. Our written plan for money as it pertains to personal finance is called a budget. Our written plan for investment is called our investment plan. Our investment plan goes a little something like this. Every interval, we, or I if we're married, we if we're married or I if we're single, but since I'm married, we will invest such and such amount of our local currency into such and such cryptocurrency portfolio on such and such cryptocurrency exchange. So an example would be every Friday at 2 p.m., the time of day matters too, because we want to be laser focused, very specific. If your heart starts beating and it's not on the same time, that's called an arrhythmia. You have to go to the hospital for that. If your investment's like that, it's not going to succeed in the same way it's not going to succeed. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. That's a terrible condition, but you get my point. If the heart does not beat a bum 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 bum, there's a reason that it's called a heartbeat. Anybody who knows music understands that you've got to stay in time. On your investment, you've got to have a beat. What's your beat? Every beat we will invest on this beat. Friday at 2, not Friday at 4. No. There's a beat. Every beat we're going to invest. Every Friday at 2 p.m. Every Friday at 3:30 in the morning. I don't care when it is, but it's got to be the same time every week because we're trying to build a consistent engine that has a beat. You got to have a beat there, right? There's a beat. Every Friday at 2 p.m., we're going to invest $100, $200, $500. You derive that from the budgeting, which I will teach you how to do in Financial Sovereignty Academy. But after you get through a lot of the FinSoft steps, you'll have money set aside that you can invest after retirement investment, after you're paying off the house. You'll have extra money. I'm going to teach you guys to put about 25% into wealth generation, 15% to take-home pay, at least 5% to paying off your house early, and then at least another 5% into wealth generation on top of that. As you have that money in the budget, then that's where you start saying, all right, we're going to put some of that wealth generation money on top of retirement, on top of paying off the house, after we have a fully funded emergency fund, after we have paid off all of our consumer debt, non-mortgage debt. That's where we say, all right, we're going to put a little bit of money into Bitcoin. We're going to start with Bitcoin, then we're going to put money into other things as well as we want to get more complicated, but we're going to start with Bitcoin. That is going to be our plan. We put the amount in. Every Friday at 2 p.m., we will invest $100 into our cryptocurrency portfolio, which for now, maybe it's just Bitcoin. Starting simple. Maybe it's just Bitcoin. Maybe we add Ethereum. But there's a consistent beat on how we do this. We don't just change it every day. Your heart doesn't decide, I'm going to be different this time. That sends you to the hospital, right? McDonald's doesn't just say, oh, you know what? We're going to start serving steaks today. No. You don't succeed like that. This is something that I've really got to learn because I'm a free spirit, man. I just want to go, oh, we'll do it this way today. Oh, we'll do it that way today. You don't succeed like that. That doesn't work. If you want to do that, that's called being artsy. Go be artsy. And you got to be artsy in business too. But if you're going to change something every time, that's not how you build a consistent schedule. That's not how you run an engine. We're trying to build an engine. And then we're going to choose the exchange. I highly recommend Crypto.com, which, by the way, today's stream is brought to you in part by Crypto.com. Might as well mention it real quick since I was already on. I didn't even plan to mention it right now, but I'll go ahead and mention it. Today's stream is brought to you in part by Crypto.com. If you're trying to do this investment, best place to do it is here on Crypto.com. They are trusted by over 100 million users worldwide, and this is the #1 place to do your recurring purchases. I want you to set up that beat, and the way that you can do that is with this recurring feature over here, recurring purchase feature over here on Crypto.com. Make sure to check out Crypto.com. They've also got a bunch of other products. They got Crypto.com Pay, which is very cool. You can spend your cryptocurrency anywhere. Let's say you got crypto and you want to spend it. Do it on Crypto.com. It's awesome. Crypto Earn. You get the most out of your assets over here. If you come over here to Crypto Earn, you can see 21 cryptocurrencies available in stablecoins, and there's private member perks. Bitcoin, up to 5%. Ethereum up to 5.5%. That's absolutely nuts on private members. 7%, 7.5% on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely crazy. So make sure to check it out with the link in the description box down below. You can just make money by holding your assets there. So make sure to go and check it out. But the point is, you've got to have a plan and you've got to follow it, and you don't change it every week. You don't change it every week. You don't change it every week. You have a beat and you keep the beat. Who's ever heard the song Fast Car? Luke Combs did a cover of it, but it's originally by Tracy Chapman. The entire song is, you got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still got to make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. See, there's a beat there. You listen to the song, and I guess it's a, I don't know if it's a snare or the kick drum or what it is, but it's the entire song. I feel so bad for my wife. We were sitting there driving down to Hollywood Studios. I listened to this song for 2 hours straight. This was like 8 months ago. And I said, listen, this is how you do time. And I just kept on and 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 kept on, like Sheldon freaking Cooper saying, listen to this. This is a beat. This is how you do a beat. And it was so annoying for her, I'm sure. But the point is, the song, it sounds good because you've got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? Still got to make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. Doom, da-da-doom, da-da-doom, da-doom, da-da-doom, doom, doom, doom. See, that there's a beat there. And that's why, actually sounds like a lot of you guys know that song. That's why that song is, it's such an earworm. That's why when Luke Combs, did a cover of it, it was originally released in 1988 by Tracy Chapman. But when he did it, that's part of the reason it became such an earworm. See, my old man's got a problem. He lives with the bottle, that's the way it is. He said his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like him. So mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school, that's what I did. So you got the beat. Today's stream's all about beat. What's your beat? What's your beat? What is your beat of investment? Tell me in chat, what's your beat? When do you do your investment? What schedule do you do your investments on? Set up the beat. That's right. Gotta have a beat. I guess what I'll have what Jeff's drinking, please. I am currently drinking water, so there you go. You'll be nice and hydrated. Fast car, Jeb did well. Yeah, I don't sing on stream very often, but I do love to sing. I had 2 different people tell me on Tuesday that I should be in the choir within like 10 minutes of each other. Made me feel very good about myself. Bi-weekly, there you go. Verhulftefluffen said, good song. Abraham Lee said, bi-weekly. Blockchain James. Blockchain James. That's an awesome name. That's great. Said weekly. Queen said weekly. There you go. Blockchain James said every week on Friday. Let's see. Joshua Carrero. Is it a rolled R, or am I just absolutely making a fool out of myself, Joshua? You got to tell me. I'm just going to say Carrero. I'm just going to say it like, that sounds so bad. That sounds so white. That's probably the way it's said, though. I don't know. Said, I'm praying for the Dixie to go down to 78 levels, Jeff, for cryptocurrency to succeed. It can succeed without it, but I think it will be easier if the Dixie does go through a corrective movement. Queen said, born brave. That's right. Generational curses end with me. Sorry, I didn't read that correctly. Generational curses end with me. That's how it was said. I know that's what was said behind the scenes. We have a very real drummer here. My son walks up to me and he just says, Daddy, can we worship, please? He loves to sing with me. So we just sit there and we just sing worship music. We've been listening to Sing with One of Your Accents. Oh, man, I don't know if I can sing with my... Let's see. See, my old man's got a problem. He lives with the bottle, that's the way it is. He said his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like him. So mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school, that's what I did. Oh, your favorite song is Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. That's a great song. I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Sing with a Trump accent. I don't know. We're getting off the groove now. The point is that we've got to invest with a beat. So what's your beat? What beat are you investing in? I believe that Bitcoin is going to have a huge rally. I believe that Bitcoin is going to have an enormous rally in the back half of this year. That being said, you got to have a beat moving into it. No song sounds attractive without a beat. There's always a beat. Always, always, always a beat. There's always the kick drum in the back going. Or it's there's a hidden beat. It's you hear that? So maybe you invest every 3 weeks and then you skip a Friday. That might be your beat. Whatever the beat is, there's got to be a beat, and it's got to be on a certain cadence. God set up the week, 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. Makes a lot of sense to me. Invest once a week. Wait. That's what makes sense to me. Weird Al. Good old Weird Al. Man, Weird Al sure is weird. He's got some very interesting songs. Rick4962. I knew I was going to get corrected. Crimson RJ83 said a Bugatti Veyron only revs to half of what you suggest. 7,000 RPM. You got me. I said 13. I was like, that sounds more like a motorcycle engine. Yeah, I've never sat in a Bugatti, so didn't know. But I had a feeling 13,000 was a little high. It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major left, the baffled king composing. Oh, God. Composing, hallelujah, hallelujah. There you go. Blueface is always offbeat. Direct deposit and auto pay. There you go. A Bugatti Geb. There's some. I feel like I'm getting sick. My voice broke. Ugh. All right, let's look at Crow. Let's look at CRO. Somebody was talking about Crow. All right. Let's look at Crow. Let's see. Where is Crow on the list? I'm going to look at it briefly. Yeah. So Chronos here. Not very high. Has not come back from all-time high. As far as I'm going to refrain from telling you whether it's a good buy or not, this is the one coin I'm not going to do that on because I don't take coin sponsorships, and we have not taken Chronos as a crypto sponsorship, but we do have Crypto.com. So I want to kind of refrain my opinions on this, which is one of the reasons I don't talk about Chronos very often. We do not, period, take crypto coin sponsorships, and we are not sponsored by Chronos the coin. But out of integrity, I want to try and keep my opinions as minimal as possible here. What we are seeing is that Chronos did rally all the way to 80 cents last bull market, and that did have a lot to do with the success of the Crypto.com exchange, naturally, because they are similar products. I do like that the circulating supply is fixed at 30 billion here. 26.5 billion is already released, and of course, Crypto.com, as we just talked about in the ad read, has been growing. There's over 100 million users, which is more than we saw last bull market, and so that is probably going to lead to the ability for Crypto.com to, or not Crypto.com, but Chronos to rally. So there you go. I'll leave it at that. But I think that I will leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I like some of the fundamentals. I will say that. Music Jeb channel online soon. Maybe. I do like to sing. Kevin Garcia. Good to see you. Welcome back. Said first time back in a year and a half, and Jen is singing. Probably meant Jeb. Jeb is singing. Hi there. All right. Christmas this year is going to be lit. That's right. Yeah. So run the engine. That's the point. Guys, I do want to let you know today about today's sponsor also, NordVPN. If you have not already signed up for NordVPN, I really think you should. And the reason is because when you sign up for NordVPN, you're going to be protecting yourself while you browse online. You see, it's very important. It's almost like we talked about the engine in the car. That is the investment, the budgeting. Those are the things you do on a consistent basis to increase your wealth. NordVPN is a little bit different. It's not part of the engine. It's more like your insurance policy. It's more like a part of your insurance on the vehicle. If your financial life is a car, NordVPN is part of like the insurance that helps to protect you, or maybe even blind spot monitoring that helps you to not get destroyed, not get totaled. And so it's important that you sign up for NordVPN to protect yourself while you browse online, because there are hackers and thieves out there that are trying to break into your car. It's almost like maybe it's your car alarm. You could maybe say it that way. There are hackers and thieves that are trying to break into your car. You're trying to break into your finances, to speak literally here, and they're trying to steal from you. And the bottom line is, if you let them in, they can get access to your funds. Maybe you accidentally exported private keys 5 years ago and you forgot. Maybe you left a password or a two-factor authentication key or whatever on your desktop, and somebody's able to get into your Crypto.com account or into your Coinbase account. and they steal money from you. You don't want that. NordVPN is going to help to protect your information from getting out there where it doesn't belong. Mustafa said thanks. Absolutely. Queen said crow. Queen said TY crow. All right. Ice, baby, stop collaborate. All right. Jeb Tracy Ramsey for president. Oh, my goodness. All right. Fast car is popular in the Philippines. Really? Interesting. Monthly for me, first of the month, so next DCA is in a few days. There you go. Love to see it. Love to see it. Just breathe and know you're invested in the correct asset class. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have peace. People are saying roar. Absolutely. Stephen Watson said standing ovation. Well, thank you. At the end of the day, we've got to say enough's enough, and we are making a change now. We've got to have that energy. Guys, I also want to let you know about Uphold, because Uphold's Vault is an excellent product that you guys should definitely check out. Go to the link in the description box down below. Come down here to Vault and take control of your own assets custody. And the reason that you should is because you are going to be able to protect yourself from losing your private keys. You've got to be able to protect yourself from losing your private keys, because if you don't, then you are going to end up losing your wealth. And the way that that can happen is you can lose a private key. So you want Uphold's Vault to be here so that they can help you regenerate your wallet if you should lose it. You will also have access to 24/7 instant trading, which alleviates the two main concerns of investment in the cryptocurrency space and holding it in cold storage. If you lose your key, you lost your coin, and you don't have access to instant trading. Uphold's Vault solves both of those problems at once. All right. Kevin Garcia said, Jeb, please shout out to my best friend Johnny. He's getting married. Shout out to Johnny. May God be with you guys. All right. All right. Shadrach Frost said, Jeb, traveling to Gatlinburg in a couple weeks. Gonna miss you for that week, but we'll be closer to the weather that you enjoy daily. Wife and I are looking for land to buy somewhere in the Smokies. That is awesome. I was born in the Smoky Mountains. Well, technically, I was born in Pigeon Forge, but I was born in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Those were my original stomping grounds back when I was a toddler. And I go there about every 6 months or so. Smoky Mountains are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So have fun while you're there. Land over there is expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive because Gatlinburg is freaking exploding. Even in just the last 5 years that I've been going there, it has gotten absolutely nuts. So have a lot of fun. You guys, we're going to wrap it out. I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. I really do appreciate all of you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.